You don't know how much trouble it takes for me to get to the point where I can do a recording. It started this morning. Constantly plucking every friggin' hair that was bugging me. And on top of that, my hair gets cut somehow. Buzzed, sometime along the way, and that is to keep the hair short. I don't know what good it does me and why it's being done. I sleep. And I'm being told it's me, and I don't really know. I don't think it is. But it only adds to me having to pluck even more, because you've got to get the root out as well, because whatever hair decided it wanted to sow in your soil of your skin, it wasn't yours to begin with, and it's like mutated or something. It's just like an ICBM being shot into your country. And my head just snapped back into place. I feel the war. I feel it internally and externally. And if you don't, you will. I may have been the first person to really be hit by this. If not, I'm the first person to survive this long, because I didn't realize it was hitting me till about 4 years ago, about the time I realized I needed to leave where I was living and come where I am now. And whatever it is, I'm not going to get into details on that. But let me tell you, sooner or later, you could be affected. You will be affected by this. If you want to live, you'll be lucky. You got to hear my stories, because it's the only thing that's going to save you if you don't figure it out yourself. And I'm pretty smart, okay, and I'm lucky, really, that I figured this one. Every day is still a battle to live and improve upon my current living conditions. And I said, it's a daily thing now. I go out and I do not get large milk. I will get smaller milks. And milk, believe it or not, just like a baby would need, is still your best thing you're going to need. Whole milk. You're wasting your time getting diluted milk. If you're still doing this, you're just stupid. If you're telling yourself, well, I don't need milk, I've gone to the edge of it, you're stupid. Okay? You want to be stupid. Stupid people die. That's about it. That's all it is. Stupid people die. Stupid people and people who think that they don't have to live. Now, with that said, the milk, your standard, generic, local brand of milk is perfect. Why it tastes so weird, or why you think you are having lactose problems and this, it's bullshit. What you need to do is what we used to do in grade school. Why the milk came out like almost frozen, because at almost 32 degrees, if not 32 degrees, and even if it freezes over, just put it in the fridge and let it defrost or whatever you want to do. But for some reason, at that temperature, whatever was bugging your milk, or a lot of other drinks, or anything, it's dead. Yeah. Okay, and the other way of going about things, boiling things, is stupid. You are killing anything of value in it. If you freeze it, chances are it isn't dead. It just got rid of whatever. Don't ask me how. Do I have to know every detail? I don't have time, and maybe you, but I will tell you it works. And a weird thing I started doing was I got these White Castle burgers, and they're about the only thing, really, that you will find. That's beef. That's 100%. And I believe it is 100% beef. It's already fully cooked. You don't have to use an oven. The more you use your oven, and even the stove, or any electricity at this point, I'm not trying to go Amish on you here. But when you get to the point where your personal energy field is dwindling, and it's all because you own the house. Now, I don't care if you're paying rent. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if your dad fuzzy heads. I don't care if your wife's in it. You're in the home. It becomes your possession if you take care of it. And actually, if you really want to prove to God what's yours, you take care of it. And that's another phrase I didn't get to post. So, you want something to stick around, be yours, you take care of it. If you don't take care of it, it'll be gone. One way or another. That goes for your girlfriend, whatever. Don't take care of it, it should be gone. Trust me. I wasn't taken care of. I left. That's the bottom line. You can say, well, you take care of it. It wasn't taken care of the way I need to be. That's it. Don't take care of people the way they need to be. It'll be gone. Don't take care of home the way it needs to be. It'll be gone. It'll be burned up, drained, flooded, or just, you'll be affected, or be taken up. Just, that's what happens. So, whatever it is. So, take care of things that you really care about. Generally. And that includes yourself. Good, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nothing else. Duh. So, with that said, I'm checking. I got to check sometimes to make sure things are being recorded because I can't trust nothing. My cell phone does all sorts of things. Now, I took the shield off the battery and stuff, and it was working just fine. Well, I didn't know. I go through a lot of problems, particularly because I'm cutting corners, and you need to cut corners. If you're going to get through this, you're going to find, but when you start cutting corners, you also wind up with new problems. But, I've solved a lot of them. And, and don't talk about cutting corners, let's talk about maybe mats, if I didn't mention it before, mats, rubber mats, anything that you find that might be, what's happening is and we got a song about it, it's UHF, but I'm not talking about songs here, but you have to remember the old days, if you were around. You have VHF and UHF. Those fields are still around, and they're still very heavy in electromagnetic fields. And then on top of that, you've got stuff around the microwave range that's probably kicking good because everybody still uses microwave. Goddamn, we gotta stop. I'm recording.
Oh, sorry.
So if you know. Do you need something? You can close the door if you want. So, and I got other things to do. I'll live with someone here, and you got. Dad says it's very true.
I want to keep the airflow going. What? I'm keeping this open to keep the airflow going. All right. Keep closing the door.
That's all right. That's what I mean. See, this is really. I said, I get back from a little bit of errands and stuff, and maybe some fresh food and stuff, and I said, I'm done. Yeah, I'm really not that old. I put the heat on in case I get cold, but the heat is I find the best use of the furnace, and it's not even cold. It will burn up a lot of this, like piranha crap in the air, or whatever I call it. It's attacking air. And now, there are reasons why you can have this, and particularly a male with a lot of hair possibilities because of certain chemical things you got to really weed it out of your system. And if your doctor is telling you you need testosterone to be healthy, that's another suicidal move that will attract more hair to your body. The hair you're supporting, and it's already, you've got enough trouble to stay alive and supporting grasslands all over you. You don't need it. Now, if I get my hair on my head weeded out good enough, I would grow some probably real good hair. That's, I think, the only hair that's really necessary in your body is the hair on your head. It was blonde. It's not now. So my genetics were already modified. So you can say, well, you a certain point, my dad, he turned black hair, but I think it's something wrong. Okay, it's a downhill thing here. And, but anyway, I digress a bit here. But I do think, and ejaculating in the open air too. Now, I don't care if it's you, blowjob, whatever it is. This is also creating a lot of this, and particularly we men could be creating our own biological weapon that's killing us, actually. And when I think about it, and I'm thinking about just now, we've got all these websites where you can get excited about a woman, and even then, some of them are women, some of them are he, she's, and whatnot, and all this crap. And some of it, when it says live, it's just a video recording, and if it doesn't say live, it could be live, okay? And if you've got 6 billion people, 3 billion are males, and if even like 1 million of them are, going off into the air every, God knows, every minute or whatever, we're creating something here, and that could make us responsible, but we're not responsible for it and we could say we are too, is all this EMF and cell phone stuff that we've created, and we don't realize what we've done. And we got to stop. And, I think But the furnace thing is cool because I realized something. This is not just, this is a gas furnace. Of course, we're up north, I'll give you that much detail. And I believe it has the ability to burn up a lot of this stuff if you use it regularly, just even for a little bit. And I think it's become a habit that, the men not necessarily smoking, but you will find if you're hard to get a girlfriend anymore that does not smoke, and that may be a reason too. I'm thinking it might be a coincidence, not just coincidental, but that's a process of burning up things in the air that are bugging your woman, okay? And that, if it bugs you as a man, that's good because it's burning up something you created in the air. And in fact, what you're creating could be what's sustaining this world for all you know. Man is responsible for creating man and woman for the universe. So what you need, but the problem, like I said, is you've got mutations going on everywhere. And it's all because of bad vibrations, noise, carbon monoxide, artificial light, overuse of artificial light like daytime running lights, these using fluorescent substitute bulbs instead of incandescent, and because you're trying to get more light in the bulb and you want to save energy, but then it's killing your eyeballs and you don't even maybe know it because you're on medication, and the medication's got to stop. You don't need it, and visits to a doctor, and all this. You want to get well. It's a long road, believe me. I've been on this road since I stepped off the edge at about 19 years of age and wound up in a mental hospital. When, like I said, I'm going to beat it to death horse. I could have spent maybe a week in jail and I'd have been over. But then I might have ruined my entire background record at the time. I would not have got the jobs I had, 30 years in computers, to know what I know now. And being in mental hospitals, very much experience to know, and computer composing, to know what I know and why I think I have a chance to survive this long term. I mean, we are, in fact, Taz says, we're God. We have the power of God. And some people I do believe know it already, and they live forever. Now, so I don't know if I live forever, but you ain't got a choice. You ain't got a choice. You don't realize that. Once. This is it. You got one chance. That's it. Then you don't exist after that. And if you don't accept that, you're not going to take it seriously what you have to do. You're just not going to. Because you're all set up that you're going to go somewhere that you don't even know exists. You've got something that exists here. Why don't you accept that? Why is it so hard to accept what exists when you want to accept what doesn't exist? Or you are really crazy. You need to be, and I'm not going to even put you there because I wouldn't put my father in one. I wouldn't put anybody in one. What has happened to me? It's sickening. This is the real sickness. And again, I'm way off the topic. A lot of things I want to talk about that are going to help you, and this is just a background into what's going on here, okay? And like I said, you need a pair of, I'm finding out now, what the hell, I can't remember, hemostats or whatever. What you want a fairly longer one, not the real shorties, and like I posted on those. I know, don't get that. And the straight ones that you'll pinch your skin on. You want a curved one, but you don't want one. I've been trying one that has a loop on the end. It's safer, yeah, if you think you're going to do some damage, you'll get that, but it takes longer to get the hair off it, and you'll have a lot more trouble. But it's a good for like a kitty starter set, with a loop, and then you can put that in. You can put that in your ear, up your nose. It'll pull the hair and you won't probably pinch yourself. But you need to get better than that at it. You really do. In fact, you have to become coordinated all over again. If you're not coordinated, because I don't know how old you are, because you have meds or even drugs, or you have alcohol, I don't care what it's been. You need to get coordinated again, and it's not easy. You don't realize how out of coordination you are, and how much you've been like coordinated by the control, like remote control of all the CMF. And then when it's like somebody told me there was some movie that says you're going to put it in manual. It's like no, but never done that before. Like and they're talking about going totally the opposite way. That the cars are going to run themselves on the road, and and already they sense this and stuff like that. And did you ever think what they're doing this for is so they can knock off anybody when they want to? Why do you think a guy is holding a cell phone, doesn't pay attention, and like a monorail thing in China or whatever? You're not realizing that you've got the news right there of what's going on. You don't understand anything to me. And he said, well, and is that believable? I don't know. And are you believable? So maybe this guy's just recording this because it's another war of the worlds, and in the end, he's going to have to say that it was just science fiction. I start to think now, the War of the Worlds could have been real, and in the end, he had to tell. I told you before, they had to say, no, it's not, because it was starting a massive panic. I know I'm no one trying to panic here. I mean, you stay in your home. I mean, there's no way to go out in the street, call 911. It ain't going to help you. That's really the scary part about this. It's not going to help you. I mean, that's what my parents did. I had like bees around my head, and that was from all this EMF, and because I was on this Herbalife stuff, and I'm telling you, they called the police. Well, that did was it's caused more confusion in my life. That's taken me all up to now to get over that. I don't take any medication and whatnot. And now I got to deal with a new problem because I've been on disability. I got disability. It's covered me up to now. But I really got to think about what I'm going to do for money because, I'm up for renewal here soon. And, honestly, I don't make a plea for money. I never do that. But, I've got a $600 a year, if I know, private server. He said, why do you have a private server? Why don't you host it? No, I need a private server. That's what I got to do. All right, I'm an expert. I've done this 30 years. I know this is the best thing to do. It's worth the money, and that's why I want to keep going. Nobody's funding me. No, I ask nobody for money because I've been able to do it my own. I have a nice pension, a couple thousand a month, if as long as it goes on. And then I'll have to wait till like 65. Otherwise, if I can't get it to go through. But I'm facing right now, and then always the transition on Social Security someday. But I'm facing a thing. I may have to go back to work, and maybe I should anyway. Be good for me, right? But what's the best use of my time? I mean, the president gets paid $200,000 to just sit around his Oval Office and read letters all day and emails and respond to them, but he still doesn't come for the $200,000. He doesn't come over to anybody's house and do their dishes and mop their floors, and ours could use some help right now. So, and I'm glad my wife didn't vote today, and I didn't vote, and my vote is to do something every day. Vote with your money. That's it. Everything you're going to do, vote with your money. Vote very carefully with your money. If you find something you don't like that you don't eat, and don't vote to return things to the store, because the effort, in fact, is painful on you and the world. You want to vote there too? It doesn't taste right, it sucks, whatever it is. You can't fix it up, it ain't going to work. In the dumpster, period. If it's unopened, want to protest, that's what I do. I ain't got time to fuck around. And and this stuff, and if it's stuff you wouldn't use yourself, don't fucking even waste your time putting on eBay. Put that fucker in the garbage. Why are you going to I've always thought about this a long time. So why would I curse someone else with something I wouldn't use myself? And that's helping anybody? No. Okay, you don't need money that bad. In fact, you're going to really ruin any reputation to get a job or anything. Throw it in the garbage dumpster, period. And you got to watch it too, because people do reach your garbage. It's not like you get in the garbage, you think, why do you? No. So, if it's critical, don't put it in your garbage or something, and don't put any And people say don't put personal information. I just read it on a garbage can. The fact of the matter is, if you're throwing away letters, anything that has your name on it, and my dad would do shredding. Shredding sucks. You're talking about using electricity to tear up a piece of paper, creating a ton of noise, and because you're worried about security. I found the solution. It took me to go back to my art days. Paper mache balls. Okay, spit balls. Just soak it in water, and that goes for also your cardboard, anything. Bring it down to size. Forget garbage compactors. You are wasting your life away on something you don't need to. A little bit of water. Water is so much cheaper. My God, anything, whatever. And even toilet paper versus what going to the shower and wiping your butt down. Good. Are you stupid? Why did you decide toilet paper is your goddamn necessity? I can't wean other people off of this. Now, you're going to get a lot of water on you. Yeah, that's going to create possibly all the more hair that you don't like. Okay. But, if that's a reason, what can I say? And then the powdery toilets and everything. Okay. It's really, really bad. Okay. Your best friend can be water, but then even then, it's like you want to be a dog and shower every day. Like I said, a woman, if she's got a right metabolism setup, even a man, if he gets the right, maybe you can survive showers a lot better. But you might wear that shower and find you got hair all over you. And that's all, if you water the grass, you got grass. And come on, you got weeds too, And if you don't pluck the weeds before you mow the lawn, you're going to have more weeds than lawn soon. So why are you so stupid? And then you're cutting the grass short, and then the sun comes out, and then it burns your grass. And what are you, stupid? Now, come on. Because you never think about it long enough. No. So let somebody else do it. And you don't wonder why you're not in control of your life. Okay. Way off track again. Okay. But it all has to be said. Okay. So back to where we were, right? I mean, I've been talking about wiping your butt here. This is what we have to go to. My first wife told me I was 3 years old one time, insulted me to hell, but because she was right. I'm 30, I'm 3, I'm 4, I'm 4, 40, I'm 4, 50, I must be 5 now. Okay? That's about the mentality I'm at now. And I'm sure when I was 17, I had more sense of me. Who knows? But regardless, okay, this is what it is. Another thing, this is what I want to get to. You want peace in your life? Why does peace sound like this? Believe it or not, particularly the male, I think, this is the thing. And, where are you putting your piss? You're putting it down the toilet. You think, it's not going to get anyone when we use it. I bet that piss you put down the toilet, it goes through the system. First of all, then you're driving on everybody's piss, because that sewer system is right under your street. So everybody's driving on your piss, your dog piss, and you wonder why you don't feel comfortable on the road. And then we're going to get other topics like why you don't feel comfortable on the road. And your crap and everything, and the toilet paper and all that. And I happen to think, and if I think it, probably, you don't even realize how probably true it is. They can get how many chemicals and whatnot, and stuff to make drugs and whatnot, and preservatives, and where they can get it, and the fertilizer, everything. That's being piped right to somewhere, and they're getting it for free. And not to mention, you're paying the waste, water waste management system for giving them that for free. Aren't we so wonderful? We're donators so much, and then we got to struggle to make a living out of it for $1 and then we wonder why. And this is it. And I start to wonder why is piss yellow. I wouldn't dare that they take the damn piss and it's got properties of gold in it. I wouldn't doubt where the goose is getting the gold in it. I wouldn't doubt it. And they could probably, you'd probably be just as good taking that stuff, mixing it with something, and make your own gold coins, and see if you can sell them down at the gold store. I might be crazy, but it's realize the value of this stuff. And you don't even probably realize how many things you could clean that you can't get things off with your own free piss. Okay, you probably could bathe in your own piss and be cured of any disease instead of going to chemotherapy because you just don't, or at least the stand in your own piss would do something good. I'm telling you, we have things that are we devalue what's valuable and make valuable what should never have value. It's totally reversed. There's a song that goes, the world will be upside down. It is upside down, and if you don't realize it, it's because you're upside down. When the world's upside down, and it looks upside down. Okay, and like I said, what you're gonna, why do they call the toilet the head? And this is a military term. What are you shitting? You're shitting into your head. And if you don't feel that you're shitting into your head, you ain't done it enough times. Okay? Me, I'll be honest with you. If I get up in a trash bag, I just know I'm sure. And if I didn't feel, like someone gonna discover it all over my yard, honestly, it would be the best fertilizer for my yard traces are, okay? And and then what's legal? And why is it? Why would anybody care? And you say, well, they care because of biological. It is. That's not where the biological shit's coming from. It's going us. It's this other stuff, But you don't realize it's a good excuses here for why things are regulations that have nothing to do with truth at all. That's the bottom line. So, like I said, you want to get your mind back. You want to get this back. You got to think about what I'm saying, and it's got to hit home. When I met my veteran war friend, who does website for him, I knew something funny on this, but it took him, because of where he is on the mountain, to bring me up to the mountain to say, you were right about what you thought of down in the forest, because I've been there. You're talking to a man whose father died in Siberia. You're talking to a man who escaped Stalin. You're talking to a man who escaped Hitler, or Hitler saved him from Stalin, then he escaped Hitler because U.S. forces met him in Tittling Driver. Another story, but go to the website, and took him to he comes to America, and eventually becomes a soldier, serves in the Korean War, gets injured because he steps in a hole that nobody said the hole was there because they're supposed to have a sign, I guess. And and here he is today. Spent the last 40 years writing an autobiography, so that you might have an idea of what's real. What's real? What's up? The man's never seen a doctor all his life, never will, because his mind's sharp. Even if his mind's not really totally sharp, it's a hell of a lot sharper than you and I, and we're half his age. And why is that? Okay, let's move on. So maybe I can go from let's talk about the road. Okay, so like I said, you're better off putting down that toilet. Any soaps you have, that smelly, perfumey stuff you've got, maybe you got boxes of Ivory soap. Well, don't put it. I mean, get stuck in there, but or put it in the tank and have it melt down or something. But if it'd be better cleaning our sewer up that you're driving on, I bet you'd find out it'd be a pleasure to drive on the road again. And I'd put some food that maybe wasn't tasteful. That I put down. I would never put a bug down the toilet anymore. I told you, it is a head. You want a bug in your head, put it in the toilet. Put it in the garbage and throw it out. I wouldn't even know. She's tossing it out the door. If it's a bug you didn't want on this planet, don't toss it back out there. And the reason I say that is, if it's alive, it's going to procreate. And if you don't like it, you'll see more of them. Bad. Number two, if it was dead, something else will eat it, and its essence will also still be around, or its genetics will be out there to procreate somehow through the creature that consumes it. So either way, I think my dad finally found the best solution, because I told him not to listen to it. Just bag it up in the trash. During trash, it'll get burned somewhere, and that'll be the best thing to happen to a bug you don't want to see again. Particularly one that comes in the house. I'm still pretty nice. If the bug's outside, I'm going to kill it, but maybe I should too. If it's under the water. Basically, no, only a couple of bugs I really don't think belong around here so far. If it's a roach, no one doesn't need to be here. If it's a spider or a fly, maybe I'm partial. Whatever it is, we don't need ugly things or anything like that. You say, well, we'll screw up the food chain or something. I mean, I thought about this, and this is another education thing that a lot of our education has been warped. You say, well, they'll screw up the food chain and this and that. And yeah, well, honestly, more of this chemical dumping, so we did more to do that. Yeah, I think so, possibly. But in the end, I think we do have a very good system here that, there's a lot of things that eat lower things. And basically, if they're hungry enough, they'll eat it anyway. So, we don't really have to worry about a break in the food chain, or that this system is so sensitive, at least in that respect. Where I think it is sensitive is in a lot of this man-made shit that's going on. Nothing to do with killing a few bugs or something. Something is just these species, maybe. That's the point. They're supposed to go extinct. Would you still want dinosaurs running around the planet? No, they had to go extinct. Some things have to become extinct. So, but I don't think you want humans to become one of those. And we're doing it to ourselves. We're living by the sword, dying by the sword. And I'm just checking. It's been 37 minutes. Okay, mark 38 minutes. Okay, so am I in the dark? Because I don't want to light on. Okay, you want to say that things are going on here? Okay, that's my computer. Okay, if you want to see my hand. I have to do those. There. So I'll make this is my symbol, right? Good enough. You get the idea. All right. And that's more entertaining than anything else I've had. So much childish. Okay. So, how far do we go with this? The only reason they ever took fingerprints, by the way, is so they can swap identities. This whole thing about Pilate, Barabbas, and Jesus, and I'll probably say this anyway. I mean, I hate to expose this, but this is probably what goes on. It's simply for them to learn that how to. Some people, I'm not. Wait, let's not say. Some people I believe, are using this whole idea, because I don't really get in trouble, but to actually have guilty people go free and innocent people disappear off the planet and take their identity. That's why identity theft is real. And if you think you're protecting your identity because of your wallet, you've got another thing coming. It's not about your wallet. It's more in depth than that. Wallet isn't going to be what steals your identity. What steals your identity is going to be more you telling some computer system um, what your social security number is by speaking it, or your date of birth by speaking it, or any of the numbers, or yes or no. And if you're doing it, this is the kind of stuff they want to take. And that's why I've been very careful, actually, from the very beginning, to press a number instead of ever saying anything. It never felt right. And I do believe, to avoid this kind of stuff as much as possible. And, if you're dealing with the voice controlled system, press 0 and just get past it if you want to save your life. The only other thing, if you can't do that, hang on the line. It should get you to someone, because they'll think you're an invalid. And, but every time you've been pressing a button, saying a word, you're giving out too much information. And you're not even giving it out to a person that you trust. It's just a computer system. You think, well, it's just a computer system. That computer system was created either by somebody good or bad. And usually in this case, it's bad. So, the argument is, well, we needed time, because we're backing up calls and stuff. I don't know. It's just, if maybe you just shouldn't even be dealing with that company for whatever they're worth. And in essence, the fact that the computer has helped, you should be able to get that stuff done by an email to the company, or going online to your account and handling it. And if you can't do it that way, or they don't accept emails, you got a problem. They got a problem. So consider leaving the company if you work for them, or if you're consumer buying from them. Your money is where your vote goes. You need to spend even the time that you would drive down to the polls and vote for some idiot who's just a figurehead, just a face, probably an actor, not even real. They don't even live in the White House. I was in Washington, D.C. I was there, and I walked on the grounds of the White House. It's abandoned. Nobody lives there. And, in fact, all that was going on, there were a bunch of protesters going around in a line dance, one on everybody's hips. At the front of the line was a woman, topless, with big breasts, and behind her, only men that I could tell, a long line snaking around, maybe 100 men, and they're shouting, they're singing and dancing, "We smoke pot and we like it a lot." Okay, over and over. And that was the excitement of being in Washington State. Now, besides that, we went to the Capitol building, and it was July 4th, and there was a very nice orchestra and everything. Now that's real too, but that's just, it's entertainment, it doesn't mean there's anything real going on in Washington D.C. at all. Until I could say, there was a whole mall that looked like a bunch of Congress, it's a mall, underground mall. That's all it is. This is stores and stuff. And what else is out there? Well, and I happened to get chicken pox when I was at that July 14th. Right in Chicago, Saturday in the park, every day is the 4th of July. And it's like I did this with my first life. And what's my point here? And I don't mean to break everybody's dreams, but these dreams and this American dream that's going on and on and on is killing us. We got to get past it. We got to blow it out, because it's not doing our kids. We need our kids to learn what's real and get them helping your parents or whatever, at home as early as possible. It's not about child labor here. Child labor is okay. I was to work early. I was mowing the lawn for 25 cents. It was 25 cents for 1/4 lawn. And then it became $1 when I ended up mowing the whole. I had a riding lawnmower. I was like, okay. But still, then kids need to work at home and take care of their parents. If the parents would ever get old, if they would die, you need your kids to be educated. The best person to take care of them is them. But, none of this would have to happen if we just, got with the program of the fact that, like I said, we have the power of God. I thought about it when I was young and growing. I was saying, and you're riding on what God's energy. It's really yours. You have something right in you when you're growing up. It's like a first stage rocket, and that sucker should always be able to be perpetuated. But it's because of what happens to you when you get older, and then you put money first and everything else in you, and you start believing things because you're 40 years old and they try to make your body like it's a car, and at 40,000 you got to do this, at 60,000 you got to do that, 60 years, and that's what's killing you. You never had to do this stuff. If you just didn't listen to the doctor, if you were deaf, dumb, and blind, you'd be better off. And it's 47 minutes into this program, and I just wanted to mark that time off with you. I'm just doing that now. So where are we going from here now? So that's my point. I think the point is you're the president of your home, and you always will be. You're the president, or the first lady, or whatever it is. And when you don't want to take the responsibility for this, you ought to think, well, I got somebody else somewhere else that's doing it, and they're not. All they're doing is like any other scammer. And they're sending you an email and saying they want $3 to help their campaign. You give them $3 and you think, I did such a good deed today. They don't need your fucking money. They're so greedy. They just want. It's like that. You should be so smart. You should be so smart as to find a way to get a group of people that don't know what the hell's going on to think there's an election going on, and that you're running for president, and get them to pay you. That's all it is. It's ignorance. It's ignorance and selling hope. And that's what's getting these people wealthier every day and doing less. Because the smart thing, if you're these people, is to do is to work smart, work hard. And because there's this loophole in the world, because basically there's enough of us that are stupid, they live on us and don't do a damn thing. And you shouldn't even mad at them. What? This is, if a lion is standing there, and of course you put your arm out to shake the lion's paw. The lion never was trained, you didn't know it, and he chews your arm off. Okay, what are you going to say? Not to a lion, you should not have done that. But as your blood's all over the floor, and he's holding your arm in his mouth. And now he's not hungry. Well, maybe would you say, "Oh, I know you were so hungry, Mr. Lion. I'm glad you got something to eat." What? Are you an idiot? You ran the other way when you saw that lion. Worse yet, why wasn't that lion in a cage in a zoo even, or just plain not here? Or leave him in Africa where a lion belongs, but not in this country. Okay, get my point? And they're very smart lions, and they get on TV, and they're lying there and lying here, and that's a play on words, but that's true. Am I the first to discover all this? I doubt it very much. Am I the first to maybe get it on an internet and YouTube and say it? I don't know. But I'm not sure, so that's why I'm doing this. How many people get bumped off they don't even get this far? Tad's still around, and he got a 40-year autobiography. You need to read it. I ain't even read all of it yet. So, That's so much I want to talk about. And I was going to do a video for my car to show the parts. I don't need to. Are you an idiot? I don't need to. I ain't got time. I'm not healthy. When will I be? I don't know. I'm better off than I was. I'm thinking good at least. To at least bring you a message, like an intelligent conversation like we used to have back before. I believe it was 1976 now, is the magic year everything started to go downhill. You could tell in the music, or just after 77, you could tell in the music. You could tell in a lot of ways that was it. And it makes sense. At bicentennial year, that was it. Just, 200 years, and then you're celebrating all this liberty. That's when they took it away from us. That's what I figured it out. I was 10 years old. So the only birthday party I ever had publicly was when I was 10 years old at a Howard Johnson's. Just a side note. Never had one after that. And this is the thing. You're being pushed into things too. Some of you, and prideful. My dad said, I want to be a rock star, Dad. No, you don't, son. He practically cried. You will have opportunities to be on American Idol, this and blah, 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 and game shows and all this stuff. You know what? You got to boycott it. And I don't know what the boycott is. So, boycott, I said, what does boycott mean? Why do these convoluted words for something which is basically don't do it, stay away from it, don't support it? Because take a reality show. I was watching this thing in Brazil. Now we have them on American television too. Some poor person. I mean, it must be poor. Why would you be rich and fly through the air with your body? And is this real or is this all photoshopped? Now, I'll tell you, if it's real, it's insane, really insane. And in fact, I'm looking at Brazilian TV, and you got people they're getting in mud, they're doing all this stuff for an automobile. That's it. And you should see a Velcro. Wall Velcro teaches you something. And you realize Velcro, it sucks. You don't want Velcro in your life. You don't want all these plastics in your life. You don't want these rubbers in your life. You don't want even rubbers for condoms you wouldn't want in your life. You don't want too much of this stuff. And plastic bags you're taking home. They're double bagging a plastic bag. You got 100 bags. You're storing them in a push a sack. I think if you're Brazilian, you're nuts. You are letting your house vibrate up to I don't know how many decibels it really is, and you want to wake a new friggin' piece of it. Not to mention you're blaring your TV on. My kids gotta watch it. I gotta get my kids entertained, or else I'll be screaming. Maybe you need to figure out how to tell your kid that he doesn't need TV and stop screaming, and tell him to mop the floor. And if he cries or whatever, spank the shit out of him. And if you don't have a good enough relationship with the police department, that when your kid calls and says, my daddy's abusing me, why is your kid have a better relationship with the police department than you do? I don't care if you hate the police, I don't care if you won't call 911, you see a policeman in your area driving in, you say hi to him, you get him to know you. Get him to know that you're a civilian who is a law-abiding person. Because I never did, and that's why I wound up in mental hospitals a lot, because I did not have any rapport with the police department. So, number one, get to know law enforcement. You have to make them your friend. I'm sorry. And they're really, I think they are people that are well trained to do the right thing. And another thing is, if they're not, you need to get to know them anyway, because how are you going to expose a policeman that's not doing his job or looks suspicious to you if you don't ever get them out of their car to talk to them? So either way, you have no choice. You've got these people working for you in your neighborhood. If you want them to work for you the way you want them to work for you, you need to talk to them. But they're not going to work for it the way you want it. So if anybody needs to know that you're there, alive, where you are, it's your local cop. So then when the kid starts screaming, cry wolf, the cop looks at you and says, he's doing it again, aren't he? What? I say, what do you do? So I asked him to mop the floor, he wouldn't do it. Well, I say, well, you want me to threaten to have him spend the night in jail till he mops the floor? I mean, we'll just joke around. I don't care. This is the kind of stuff you need to be friends with your folks. That's it. It's not about having, firearms in your house because you're going to point one at a cop someday who's going to be afraid he's going to come over. You wouldn't have this problem if you talked to the fucking cop before you had a crisis. Because chances are when the crisis comes, it's all screwed up about communications and confusion because of all this energy that's all corrupt. And the fact of the matter is you look at your cop and he look at you and you think you're enemies and you're not. And you shoot each other to death. And that's what's going on. You're angry at the cop angry at you. And you're angry at the wrong people. We're killing each other. When the real problem is someone sitting there like a James Bond movie. If I recall, one of them was Die Another Day, who's got a satellite with a beaming a laser at everything and melting things down. It's kind of like that. Only they're attacking our minds and our energy field. And you say, this is just War of the Worlds again. So you need to recognize one fact too. And I've read, if you've never been to science fiction books, it's how science fiction, it's kind of stuff, and I'm a religious guy. I only go for the Bible. Don't you limit? You're like you. And I wouldn't say it if I wasn't or hadn't been. Don't be a horse with blinders, okay? Don't be a horse with blinders, and don't be a horse dragging a cart when you don't even know who is sitting on the court driving it. Okay? Take your blinders off. You don't have to read a science fiction book sometimes to understand it. Why don't you look at the title and the author and see if it hits home to you that maybe there's some truth in what's being said? Because do you know how far it's gone? Do you know how long this planet's been here? Really, do you know how long this universe is here? Do you know how we got to this planet? And maybe it wasn't something like magic, like puff. Maybe, just maybe, we were put here. Or another place, or another planet, I don't know. Do you know? And do you know that there's molten metal all through this planet? I got a greeting card from my parents. My parents gave me, it said, greetings from a hollow earth. And it showed little spaceships going down in the North Pole and the South Pole. And there's, oh my God. And so, why would they? My parents gave me that. Are they? I don't care. What you think? My message is as usual, and it's now coming up on an hour. Let's see, 35 seconds to the hour. Coming up on the hour. Now, if you're not getting enough food for thought from all the years you've been in church, from all the years whatever you're doing, or maybe you're just young and you haven't done any of this, food for thought is good. I don't care where it comes from, whether you think it's evil, whether you think it's good. You need food for thought. You're not getting enough of it. You're getting the stuff on TV that's not helping you. Okay, like I said, you've got game shows and people are getting hurt, seriously hurt. There was one of them, he was hurt badly, had to be taken away. You've got football games, too. Professional football, people getting carted off, and people breaking, paralyzed because of a football game, because they want to make billions, millions of dollars a year. And this is all valuable entertainment when you're going to go down to the restaurant and the food stinks. Why? Because that guy spent all his years in a career playing football. If he had taken the time to learn cooking, even from Chef Ramsay, I don't care if it was his mother, your own mother, and was at that restaurant to have cooked the meal the way you needed it to survive, he would have been doing better for himself and the world. In fact, he still probably wouldn't be paralyzed either. The next town, whatever. We have been sucked into entertainment. I'm reminded of Roger Waters' album, which I didn't even play much of. I didn't find it wasn't about being the most best instrumental album or anything else. No. He has a picture of a TV set with an eyeball staring at a monkey watching TV. That should say it all. Okay? The TV's watching you be a monkey, and it's programming you to be a monkey. And the only song of that album that had ever sank into me, of all the weird stuff going on the album, is What God Wants, God Gets, God Help Us All, God wants McDonald's, God wants this. And it's not about God. It's just about the way the world is going. Because to some people, it is not about love, it is not about suffering for somebody else in the least, or giving your money to something real, or working your ass off every day and honest living. To a lot of people, it's bean counting gold and dust and resources, and it's only about that. And it's about not paying any taxes. It's about hoarding everything for a rainy day, and it's not even for a rainy day. The fact is, the more they have, the more kids they can have, even more than people on welfare who do it from the other side, being poor, so poor that they're actually rich. Okay, and that's why the middle class, so we're stuck in the middle, is the most suffering class and will always be, and be the most stupidest. I'm sorry, we are. So, and if the government's not taking our money and doing anything with it, we'd all be better as middle class. To have our own treasury, private treasury, our own private trust fund, independent of anything. And then even that's stupid. But if it would get big purchases for things such as that would be fine. But even with that said, like I said, if you just owned your money, you'd probably do better with it. I put it's 10409 on time wise. And what is the date? It was something like it's the beginning of November here. So like 6, I don't know. Don't care. Right? I think it's like 6. All right. So, like I said, I put money in the song. Everybody, I know people have lost everything. Whatever it is you're investing money in, that's how much. If anything that's a stranger, a person you don't know that well, a doctor you go to, the medical side, anyway, they're nice people. They're going to be nice. They're going to be taking your money. Taking your money, they're going to be nice to you. That's the bottom line. You don't like the way I'm talking, because I'm not getting paid from you. But the one thing you can guarantee, like when my father would talk to me, and it hurt my ears, is you're getting the real thing here. You're getting what the news really is. Because if you want sugar on top of this, like Julie Anderson, The Sound of Music, he's going to give it to your Mary Poppins, sugar costs extra. And if they can sugarcoat it, it's because they're trying to slip a pill on you. Pill, 3 letters don't like word. Pill, ill. Okay? You want to be ill. You want to be ill, but you don't want to feel it. Put some sugar on the pill. Okay? and see how far it gets you. Right? This is not a pill. This is not ill. This is real medicine. This is food for thought. The best medicine is food. If you're not finding a food that works for you, try another food. But stick to what you know is food, because anything else ain't going to help you. Now, you got a car. We're going to talk about mods now, because I like to get into mods. Now, I just did to my car. I should have done like from day one. I don't know why. You got this stuff in your car. It's annoying the hell you leave it in there because you think you have to. You think you're going to resell the car one day and you're going to get nothing for it anymore. And you got all these dreams. You need to get rid of them. Okay, that car is yours. You're stuck with it. I hope you like it. Remember, one thing I worried about, I said, these Toyota cars, I said, the engine, it must be the engine. It's a Toyota engine, that's why it sucks. Because it's got nothing to do, I just found it had nothing to do with anything. And I thought about it, all engines come from basically the same place. Just like God gives a heart, basically it's the same heart everybody gets. Personality can be different because we're brain dead in certain areas. Everybody's brain dead in one area or another. In my opinion, that's what makes personality. Now, of course, we have different voices, different tongue, but okay, fine. That's when we're recognizing a person as facial or voices. But other than that, we really shouldn't be much different. But going back to the car. And I've done little things and it really didn't help much, but I started. I did do a video of those. I had little orange stickers on my locks. Well, they got silver backing on them. It's almost kind of like a lot of labels, and it's kind of like UPC symbol, kind of like certain things on your electronics. They got this metal backing. I don't like credit cards. I took them off. When I flip the locks on and off, I'm not being taxed. I'm going to use the word tax here. But it's more like tax, like somebody stick a tack in your skin. It's about more like that, or your brain. Next thing I realized on the score. The whole thing housing the dash, where I see this, whatever, everything. It's like looking tunnel vision. Then I realized the whole inside, I can rip it out. And I did. And then, that exposes, all of the area. And what that allowed me to do was, I take, if I can't get in there and blow out an LED, which I guess is not good anyway, hey, electrical tape, a good electrical tape block is your best friend. Tape up stuff that's constantly lighted and annoying. I'm still recording, so I don't know what you want to do.
You up or cold?
You can cut it back. It's been on a while. I'm sorry. Just turn it to the left till it goes off. Or all the way left, it doesn't matter. Just throw it all the way to the left, then you know it will go off. Or flip the switch. If you want off right now, I just flip the switch off.
Well, no.
It's not a big deal. Anyway, go. Thank you.
I just turned it down.
Okay, fine. All right. So, I really didn't want her listening into my recording too much because I don't want controversy right now. I just want to get this done. And she says she's put earplugs on. I felt more private also turning on the heater in this case. I'll be honest with you. Now, and I'm going to wrap it up soon anyway. But tape over. Don't use postal tape. I think it's called lesser. One thing about electrical tape, I think it's the most natural. If you get a nice, decent quality roll of it. That's about the only tape I use for anything right now. I probably wouldn't do post office stuff with it, but I'm done with the post office, in fact, too. My dad shipped me a hat, and it was supposed to be so fit on my head, it was too large. So, I don't trust postal service anymore. And I don't know who to trust. I'm supposed to trust my dad. What am I supposed to trust? Something wrong. Okay, so, it's like, Don't mail anything valuable to the post office. Just forget it. And anyway, no, I'm dead serious. So, nothing comes to our house, in matter of fact, by mail that's of any value. And all I can do is to always screw up your life. Because what is coming in the mail? The car dealer wants you to trade your car in. Wants you to make you feel unsatisfied with what car you got. Number one problem. Number two, you got Medicaid, Medicare. All they're going to do every day is try to remind you that you got a health problem or that you got to have health insurance for a rainy day. So, I gotta get to the bathroom anyway. So, as far as the car mod, after doing that, I realized I'm tired of looking at the transmission, okay? The D, the R, the L, whatever, and all, and the N, and the one, two. And you pay homage to a lot of stuff you look at, including your clock radio, and labels, and the things you do. You can get rid of them. You're allowed to take them off. So I took that out, and I wondered, as other people have done this too. Of course, in the old days, I wondered why people did this. Now I know why. And the other thing, a lot of things I've had, like filters or like, you got these fancy things in your car that direct the air, right? Most of it is making it very inefficient for cold air, hot air to get to you. That's all it's doing, and then you're going to play a fiddle with that when you're driving now. So I took, they pop right out very easily, but all those vent things come right out on your dash. And I got rid of two. Amazingly enough, was that the driver ones were heavier than the ones on the passenger side, and they felt weird. And perhaps they are doped in some way. What I mean by doped is that it's going to make you a dupe. It's got something like kryptonite for Superman. I don't care what it is. They're gone. And all of them had this little like foamy stuff. It's like tactile foam. It's like insulation stuff. And it's like, why are you trying to do this one? They're basically, it's not like it's a sealed thing, It's not like hermetically sealed vents. Why are you even putting this on there? It's just bullshit. It's poison. So I tried to move that off of the two I saved, which was in the passenger, because I have this thought. Sometimes I want to say, I need to control that. If it's for a woman, well, I don't want to keep one or two. I kept it just in case. But otherwise, no, I throw them all out and get them all across. So I got rid of the other two. And what's just so amazing is I crank up the AC or running. It's so good. I mean, it comes straight out of there. And it does it all immediately. So like, even low setting is all it can be amazed. But what's really crazy is the vibrations in the car went to something that is almost pleasant to the ear again. It was a pleasure to drive my car like I'd never been. And then I realized, this is basically feels like an American engine car now. And so what occurred to me, and it was today, in fact, was it's the Japanese's design of the interior of the car that's so wildly bad vibrationally. That's what's killing you when you're driving down the road. It looks like luxury, but in fact, that's a camouflage for deadliness. So, by getting rid of this stuff, that comes out like that, you turn the car into an American vehicle that's safe again for human bodies to be driving it. And that's pretty much the most important thing I had to say. And the other one thing is, we went to the Keys. There's a thing called the Ernest Hemingway. Well, the only thing I want to say about that is the name, Ernest Hemingway. And if you apply that name to hems, I think you'll find hems are more like hemlock. They're poison things. To some extent, it's getting that way, and it's because of the charges in the air. It's not that they were always that way. And if you'll notice, lately, I noticed a lot more things are hemmed these days than ever were. And plastic things are hemmed, and blankets are hemmed, and they're polyester, they're not even cotton. This stuff is disturbing your natural vibrations of your body. It is. And, or anything. I mean, I would find that the shower curtain has a hem on it. The tiniest little hem, but you know what that's doing? Depending on what frequency you're trying to vibrate, you need, and I was into ham radio. Now, ham radio, we had 2 meter or something. That required, I believe, whatever we were using for a ham radio I borrowed, we needed a cable. It was a good thing we did this. It was in my house. We had a cable that ran from a tree on one side, lengthwise of our house, to the opposite side on the oak tree on the other side. And so that was not 2 meters. That was like whatever that was. 20, 30, 40 meter or whatever. That's the wavelength it needed to be, or half of that or something. I don't know what something at 20 meters. So what you don't realize, particularly in this day and age, is something plastic, even stiff or stiffened, of a certain length. You've got somewhere, FCC, don't ask me who, you've got somebody eavesdropping on you somehow because they're going to vibrate whatever the length of that is. And all they need to do is hit you with the exact frequency that matches the length of whatever the object is. And if I haven't stated it, I'll state it again. Microwave ovens, as I read, you can Google it, are generally in the range of 500 megahertz, and they tell you even that it calculates to 4 inches of wavelength. And I keep telling people when I see them, that means everything in the area. And if you're standing right in front of your microwave, your breasts and heads and chest, which are about 4 inches in diameter, are going to start vibrating when that microwave goes on. And you wonder why there was such an outbreak of breast cancer in this world. And I happen to think, and Dad would say there's no maybes. That had a great deal to do with it, if not that and the diet. That and cooking the stuff in the microwave and then eating it. No doubt. All had to do with it. Or then being impotent. I mean, the average size of a penis, 4 inches. If you're lucky, you know, it's 5, 6, 7. It doesn't matter. You're harmonic of it, and you wonder why you need Viagra. And you know, you're running the microwave every day because at work or whatever, because you need to eat fast. And you think it's cost efficiency, saving time. What's it going to cost you? You're saving a cent there, and then you're going out and buying $100 a pill of Viagra or whatever, or mental problems. What's the radius of your skull? 4, 5, 6 inches diameter. You run that microwave, it's vibrating your whole freaking head. Did you even notice? Or are you so numb because you're taking tranquilizers every day? Not to notice. So, you know, this is what's going on. And computers, I mean, I have to use a tool that could be working against me to get a message out. I got no choice. But all I ever saw in the hope of computers was to be able to disseminate messages that we need to. And I said to someone today, you know, we have the power with a computer and a brain that makes sure, you know, that it's not being tampered with, that we don't need some president in a White House, that there is none anyway. We can all communicate to each other and stay out of trouble. And that's what I've always said it would be useful. I've been 30 years in computers since I started that. Boss. DOS, Windows 3.1, Windows 95. IBM did OS 2. I was working right on it. I was there. And that became Windows 95. After Windows 95, it went downhill. These were touchscreen security. 98 sucked. 2000 sucked. NT sucked. But maybe when we got to Windows 7, I don't know, Magic number 7 got better. And even then, I don't trust it. I got Windows 10 on this thing. I can only have it. It's any good. But that's all I got to deal with. I got a million apps here under some new system that they put in, so you can't even get your desktop first, and then they finally fixed that, so you can get your desktop. I don't use any of them except the scam thing was right there. I have to use it. I ain't got time to play around with fancy things that work. So, and we're 1 minute 21, 1 hour 21 minutes. That's what I'm going to call it. So, until next time. Best way you can come up with a new phrase. Also, best way you're going to be safe is to be smart. And the way you're going to be smart is to be awake. The way you're going to be awake is to be free from poisons. And that's not easy because you don't even know what the poisons are. And I won't take on this. I got some fudge I bought. I won't say what brand in the refrigerator. It just say on the label, not for internal use, poisonous. But it doesn't say that because why? Because in fact, I take any amount of it, I'll ill immediately. And then you'll have something I have a blood rate about. It says do not use for internal use. I've used it on my tongue. I've gotten good results. I don't throw up nothing. What is my point? You cannot rely on a label to tell you it's food or pill that's good for you anymore. No more than you can also say that the stuff you're putting in your car wouldn't make good skin lotion. It should boggle the mind, as Tad's words. It boggles the mind what you need to survive. It's not about thriving, whatever. It boggles the mind when you break down the fact that somebody put it to me religiously, and it's not like this. You think you have faith. Your faith needs to be broken every day and reformed into a new faith. Because that's how fast things are changing. And I'm done. And this recording ends at 1 hour, 24 minutes, and approximately 4